Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Welcome to Tavern Talk. That's right. Humans on all the spectrum. We are a live talk show based on the epic fantasy series Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan. Joining me as always is my brother Dan.
Yay!
Below me.
Whoa, settle down,
repeat, buddy. Is Dad Swain Sedai.
Hello.
Caddy corner to me is Tom DeSimone. Jansen Lashley Haynes is going to be joining us as soon as he gets the detective gremlins battled. Everyone, we're talking Moiraine Damodred. That's right, we're doing our book to show comparison series. Last week was a little bit contentious because we were talking about Matt, and we had a lot of not like a lot of the. But hey, we're moving on, and we think today's show is going to be much more positive. I think we all have very universally amazing feelings about Moiraine, Rosamund Pike, both book and show. So yeah, let's get into it.
Matt Cawthon was always going to be a controversial conversation because of just how difficult they had to scramble, right? And so we were looking at the results. Here, Moiraine is the main character. It seems like the entire series was based not only around this character but around the actress herself. Rosamund Pike brought to life a character that we all know and love, and I think that she knocked this bitch out of the park. She was so good as Moiraine in my head that when I read Moiraine now, I hear and see Rosamund Pike, which I do not do with the other characters.
Not one of them?
Same.
Yes. Yeah, not one other character is like changed in your head besides Moiraine?
No, when I read Perrin, I don't hear or see Marcus.
I see Marcus now.
I don't. No, I don't.
I'm weird though, and I'm curious to see what you guys are, because I've during the pandemic and the invention of TikTok taught me that I'm not the only one that thinks like this, and that it's not normal. I didn't know it wasn't normal. So like I don't see faces. I don't see pictures in my head at all. But like when I read books, I don't see faces. I kind of just know what people look like, if that makes sense. Like I know, like they describe Perrin, and then I remember that description and I know the description, but I don't see something in my mind's eye. I don't. So like when I see them, it kind of gives me something to build off of. So like, the same thing happened with, the series that shall not be named about wizards with little sticks at school. When I saw the movie for that, like, yes, exactly. When I saw the movie, it kind of added pictures in my mind of some of the characters.
With like Harry Potter, they are all like, all the kids are Harry Potter to me. Harry Potter, Hermione, Ron. They all are there, but I think that I wonder if the show had been allowed to finish, if I would have a different interpretation. But no, Loyal's not my Loyal to me. Like when I hear Loyal and see Loyal, it's not the one that we saw. Matt, boy, you imagine. So there's this whole funny thing about like how in Harry Potter, Harry was the only one to recognize that Dumbledore isn't the OG Dumbledore, and because the actor died and was replaced, but no one mentions it. Oh, not Harry, Luna. Luna's
good.
Yeah, she's the only one that could tell that.
No one pays attention to her because she's weird.
So I guess there's also that with changing characters, but I think also the strength of just the scenes that Rosamund was in. I think that she carried every scene she was in like like a horse.
Like a horse.
Like a
Perfect.
horse. Just hop on, boys. I'll take you where you need to go.
As horses are known for, just carrying things.
That's my
Dan-
motto too.
Yeah.
Hop
Dan's
on.
known
Ooh,
for his
wow.
like
That sounds like a
Hemingway-esque prose.
Yeah, I don't. I'm very much like Tom in a way. Like I don't. When I read the books, I didn't have. I think I've spoken about this before. I had a sort of faceless template with some things that I would recognize in my mind. So I knew Perrin was like muscular because he was a blacksmith and he had a beard. I knew that Lan was kind of like compact and larger and very, solemn, but I didn't really have faces to go with that. So when I was watching the show, I definitely do agree. Like Rosamund Pike is a face that became clear in my mind, but nobody else really in the show that I can think of superimpose themselves. Possibly Elaine.
Oh yeah, she's really
Really
good too.
kind of didn't really superimpose himself into that image to make it clear in my mind. So I think they did a great job. I think they were fantastic, of course, but it didn't solidify any characters in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I just love Rosamund Pike too. I've always loved her.
Oh yeah, she's so weird.
Oh, by the way,
So-
I also love your hair today. It's gorgeous. I just want to
Thanks.
say that.
You.
Oh,
I-
everything about.
I mean, everything is great, but the hair particularly is.
Now look how shy they are.
Oh!
I didn't have
Oh,
time
please.
to put my lashes on because I was gonna be like that, but oh well.
Extra, just a little extra.
Alright, yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, I decided
So
to go
much-
extra with my drink, so I have a whole
Perfect.
thing here.
Nice. I have me.
Well,
All right.
Moiraine deserves it. She sacrificed for us.
She absolutely did.
She did.
All right, so I, the minute Rosamund Pike like enters the screen, not like in the first. Okay, no, not the minute when she enters the Wine Spring Inn. I
Those
was like,
boots.
okay, like she took over my headcanon, which is amazing. So, and then Barney Harris like immediately took over my headcanon. But no one else really at all, except for those two, which is fascinating. I want to ask you real quick, Tom. This not picturing things. Is this only when you're reading?
No,
Or-
it's for everything. Like if you told me to think of an apple right now, I'd be like, okay, and then you'd be like, what does it look like? I'd be like, an apple, like because I know what it's. I don't know how to describe it. I described it to the best way I could think of it is, like I said before, I know what it looks like, but I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like I understand what an apple looks like. I can see that it's like not see, but I understand that it's round and three-dimensional and has a stem. And I see a Granny Smith apple because I like Granny Smith apples. Like I think of a green apple because I like Granny Smith. But like I don't see it. And it's the same with most other shit. Like I don't see things in my head. It's weird.
Okay, so yeah, this is
cute.
fascinating. Do you know there's a name for that?
I do. I didn't, but in the last like year or two, I want to say I learned that there's a name for that. I don't remember what it is though.
You're the only second person I know who has this.
Ooh, is Kay the other one?
No.
damn.
She has synesthesia, which is
Okay.
fascinating. I've never known anybody with that until now.
Oh yeah.
But no, yeah, like the dude who did the music for a 5-minute prologue or like a lead-in, like that dude's got aphantasia.
Oh, that's what's called aphantasia. Right.
It's called aphantasia, and it took him forever. Very late in life, he figured this out. But like, yeah, like everything, like in school, like it's crazy to think, like, like when you learn about the heart, right? They'll give you the stupid picture of the heart, and they'll have the lines that are like coming off of the heart, and then you got to just like memorize that shit.
Yeah, that was terrible. I was so bad at that.
Yeah, like cause you literally cannot picture the thing. So he kept talking about narratives. Like I have to use narratives. He says he has narratives for everything.
Yeah,
Like
I
who
do.
I am, what I look like is narrative based.
for me too. Yeah,
Yes,
That's so crazy.
I have a
And
little
in a
story in
good
my
way.
head. For sure. Thank you.
You know, when you
yeah.
said to look at to picture an apple, I couldn't necessarily picture an apple, but I could picture like a picture of an apple. I could picture like an A, like one of those cards, like an index card for kindergartners.
Yeah.
A apple. I can picture that better than I can picture an apple. I don't know.
Okay.
That's crazy, bro. I can picture walking into the grocery store, turning right, seeing the apples on display, walking up, grabbing one, and looking at it. I can picture all that shit like a movie.
It was funny too. I saw him. I was wearing a different shirt before, but it was black, so I changed it. But it says, "Anyone will stay away if you throw an apple hard enough." It's funny that we're talking about apples now.
That's really interesting. I think in my mind, it is like the word generates a lot of variations in pictures in my mind. So when you said apple, I could see the red and the green apple just kind of in a black space, but also like orchards and movies that had apples in them. Just things just start popping and going crazy in my mind. And it happens with anything. If somebody says like computer, I can see like my computer, but also I can see like Star Trek, and I can see people, you know, in movies, and I can see people on their laptops at Starbucks. I never really thought about it until we're thinking about it right now, really.
Yeah.
Perception is fucking weird, dude. It's
well, in reading, I know that my brain just glosses over a lot of things. Like it just either I read it and it just doesn't want to pick it up, or I just don't read it. But names and like if you're describing a city, get the fuck out of here with my brain. My brain does not care about that one bit. And then so I don't know geography. I still like I was reading. I'm like Candor. Fuck, I gotta go look up. It's way up there. I thought it was like I can't picture like those types of things so well, but I can picture objects. But with names, with all the S names and all the like, I don't even try to. I just it's just S and there's a V in it, and all right, you're the S with a V in it.
That's fair.
SUV Sedai.
SUV Sedai.
She's got a dump truck.
She won the last battle.
Forget about my Lizdexia with frickin' the names, man. I'm the worst. I can't tell you how many times, like almost if I say Egwene or Elaine, I would say 70% of the time I actually mean the other one. But since their names are so similar and they're always together and they're main characters, I'm always like putting them in one place or the other in my damn head.
I can remember all the names in the Wheel of Time, but in real life, I cannot be bothered unless I've known you for like a while and we've said each other's names. Like I have friends, this is so embarrassing to admit on video, but I have friends that I'm not entirely sure I really know their name. But I'm waiting for people. I'm waiting for people around me to be like, John. I'm like, oh my god, John, my best friend. Like so, in my heart and in my conviction, like I know this person. I feel all the correct emotions. But if they were like, introduce me, I'm like, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am so freaking bad at that too. Like even people that I'm like pretty decent friends with. I mean, like it was mostly around JordanCon that this would happen to me, or other conventions, I guess, because like, you know, I was at JordanCon for so long and I became friends with so many people through JordanCon, but then I would only see them once a year. But I would remember their faces and all the shit that we did and like, you know, experiences that we had from the year before and like panels that we were on, discussions of whole panels, but not not their name like half the time. And I'm so bad. Actually, a small shout out to Vicky, girl that I always see at JordanCon. I think she was at WalkCon a couple of years ago too, and I couldn't remember her name, and she gave me shit about it, but it was all in good fun. I also I want to go up on a short tangent. Oh, what's up, Jansen? What up, buddy?
Justin.
What up, y'all?
Looking good.
Can you turn that phone sideways?
Oh, I can read your palm.
Even more, Jansen. Yeah.
You got a healthy lifeline, Jansen.
Yeah. And
I only got a quick look at your palm.
That's sweet. Now that we have a second, like your camera's all getting you're freezing up a bunch.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you've been frozen for a while. I don't know. I don't know if you're seeing that yet.
It's a good profile, though.
Maybe you want to like start and stop or
actually, let me.
something.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce and then come back on my laptop, and let's see if that makes a difference.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Good luck.
Check your flux capacitor.
Weaving
Right,
illusion
Dan?
now.
It's the flux capacitor. It always is,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's the
diaphragm-
damn blasted samoflange.
That
So-
diaphragm fluctuator.
So
There you
to
go.
continue, damn, Jansen, you look great. That's a very nice camera we're looking at right there.
Yeah.
So we what do you call it?
Right there.
I just on my second reread and like entering this community, like I didn't picture anybody correctly at all. I think like Moiraine I pictured correctly, but like almost everyone else, like my mental picture was wildly off, and that was weird.
However you picture them is correct.
No, but like like
absolutely.
I thought no, but like broad mistakes. Like this whole conversation about like when the people are like, oh my god, is the Two Rivers diverse, and then people are making videos. I thought Two Rivers was they're all like country bumpkins. I thought they're all white. I thought they're like yeah. And then when like
If you go to
people
the
are like,
American South, it's very not all white.
no, I know. But yeah, like I just wasn't thinking. You know, I wasn't like noticing these weird.
I don't think that that's the wrong view, though.
Yeah.
Considering how the book was written, they used race differently than we do in our society. He used it as a means of contrast a lot. Like as far as from the very beginning, is Rand looking different from everybody in the district. So these people were descendant from the Netherren, right? And they lived in a very small patch of the world. And it was even mentioned that the Congers and Coplans were so interbred that they didn't know where the line started or stopped.
That's that's gossip and unjustified.
But to say that, it means that there wasn't a whole lot of different DNA and gene pool that was mixing into this group of people. So I think it's not wrong to think that everyone in the Two Rivers pretty much looked the same.
Yeah, and Robert Jordan wrote in a way that, you put yourself in the story, and that's, generally, since most of a large portion. Oh, perfect, beauteous.
Is it a little darker?
Beauty.
No.
Now we could. Yes. Give me angry. Give me fierce. Oh, yeah. I love
damn,
it.
Yes.
I wish.
Hey, come on.
But and then it's not odd for you to put yourself into the characters and everyone. So like that's a thing that happens.
Yeah. That's why my Jesus is Irish and well hung.
There's no Irish Jesus. Actually, all right.
Listen. Leonardo's side piece that he based that portrait of Jesus on that he did in the Sistine Chapel was pretty hot. So I'll just say that. That very famous Leonardo da Vinci picture was like factually that was one of his lovers.
Yeah.
That is a going tale. I have heard that before.
Yeah. But for Moiraine, honestly, like her height, because like the only thing that people complain about it's the only people that even mention her height are like the people that are just looking for problems with the show.
Well,
because
Rosamund Pike is a tall lady. She's 5'11".
She's not short at all.
Well,
but like
her height has nothing to do with the character Moiraine.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't,
except for being straight like full-blood Kyrian, which they're all short apparently. That's the only thing.
I loved how I love the
good
fact
portion.
that she was tiny and
Her
she
tiny little
commanded
pony.
the room.
Tiny little pony.
But
Absolutely.
the thing is, that's an
My Little
aspect
Pony.
of the Carrion that the show didn't even register. They never talked about stuff like that. So they never said that they were slight or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just let you see them. Yeah, like the that's the thing that the Wheel of Time, the books especially, like Robert, like in the books, you know, he's very descriptive of people. I really think he missed his calling as a fashion designer, because him describing clothes, forget about it. But like when he describes people, he has to tell us what they look like. But in the show, we just look at them.
Yeah.
So you know they're not going to mention it. You
And
know,
this
the
is
characters
another.
aren't going to bring it up.
You know, this is also another
Hilarious.
aspect of Hollywood, and why I tell people all the time: you're never going to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, you're never going to get. Everyone's not going to be like you can't make everybody happy.
No, and you're never going to have it where they make a Wheel of Time where everyone in the village of the Two Rivers looks the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And if you even, and I'm just going from the smallest thing, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. Well,
it would be boring if they did.
It would, and it would also. It's not what the entertainment business is. You know, it's just like you have to add, if you're going to make a film out of a book series, you have to add the entertainment part of the factor, and you have to add the idiocies of casting directors, the idiocies of every small person that has a tiny piece of this production. You have to, and you're never going to get what you want.
It's a good.
She's making molecules.
That does look like old school, like an atom or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So Moiraine, she comes into the Two Rivers like a wrecking ball. Tears down the wine spring inn, but does defend as it goes. They go to Shadow Logoth. That kind of goes as well. They get split up. That kind of goes as well. Gorgeous. The pacing of the first season is somewhat like it until they Rand and she start to go are searching for the Eye of the World. Then it gets a little wonky. Her selling Matt to the Reds was a little wonky, but for the most part, a lot of the major plot beats were with the book in regards to Moiraine, with some differences. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest difference between the books is her I want to say specifically her continued relationship with Siuan outside of when they were novices and stuff. There's a lot of things that the show did with Moiraine that doesn't directly happen in the books that I prefer. Like I prefer it.
I love that.
And her relationship with Siuan is definitely one of them. I always thought that was a loss or a fail on their part, because I never liked her and Tom. I always felt that was super forced, and there was very little to no build up of it or anything.
This Moiraine loves you, Tom.
Yay! I've always been a huge fan of Moiraine. Moiraine's been my favorite character since I read the first book. Like I don't know why I latched onto her. Like Perrin obviously means some to me, as you know.
I don't believe that the Tom Moiraine thing was an after quick thing that he put in.
I don't think so either. I just don't think he did a good job building up
I think
any
he
relationship.
could have been a lot more descriptive, because remember when we met, what was it? The Stag and Lion, I believe that's the name of the chapter, where we met Min.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It says when even the Gleeman, she sees him grabbing Moiraine's stone out of something with his hand. So Robert Jordan knew that he was going to do that with them really, really early into the writing.
Oh, I mean, I think.
Yeah, he was going to do something.
Well, I mean, I thought it was cool. It's like the hints are there. They're very subtle, but why? Of course, they have to be subtle. These are masters of the game of like, you know, Thrones shit. Like, what am I saying? Game of Houses. Yeah.
Houses.
These people are masters of subterfuge. She's been like an undercover spy for like 20 years, playing the most dangerous game. He's like started revolutions and shit. So like, I love the idea that like when he like flourishes the knife at Whitebridge, and she like looks and like chuckles. That's like her, you know, that's a sign. Like she's like, oh, because she never chuckles at anything. Like if you put it
And
together,
I mean,
like
you're right, because they did that with Nynaeve with Lan when she looked at him weirdly or whatever when he complimented her on hiding something or something like that. So yeah, he did it very subtly. That's true, definitely.
So it didn't bother me, but Moiraine and Swan, I felt like that was more like a fleshing out of the character, like adding those like unseen bits that we don't get in the books.
Well, or it could have been like, they gave us a lot of real good description between Moiraine and Swan in New Spring.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't able to give us that in the show, so they had to find a way to do that.
That's the thing with the show too. You can't just take it at one book. Like the first season, and I'm not just saying this for taking actual scenes or characters from other books and putting them into things. I mean, as a whole, the showrunners, the writers, the directors, the actors had the complete series of information. To pull from. When Robert Jordan wrote that first book, obviously he did not. So when they're building these characters, they're not just looking at book one, they're looking at the complete story of these characters and big moments in these characters' lives.
Absolutely right. They're looking at the end.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out how to get there. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So that is a big thing to consider when looking at things that the characters do as a whole.
When
I think,
go please.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think for the show too, not just the element of a queer character in the main character position, but I think for the show there wasn't really a lot of time or space to make Moiraine and Tom happen in the first 3 seasons anyway. So I really like how they pulled the Moiraine and Swan element there, and just for television's sake, gave us a relationship. Gave us a relationship, gave us complication, gave us conflict, gave us romance, whatever. And I think that was a smart choice. It really drew from the books for sure, even though it was just a small element in New Spring that we got. It was there enough, I think, to draw from, and so I thought that was a smart choice to give Moiraine and Swan. Swan's the most powerful, person in the world. Moiraine is there. Everybody thinks they hate each other, but they secretly love each other. I just loved it. I loved it. I thought that was great.
Let me ask you, Dad Swain. Rafe had said that he had read this as a queer love story, or with Moiraine as a queer character. Is this how you read her in the books?
No. Until New Spring, it occurred to me. I mean, there were, of course, elements. You had the pillow friends, and everybody has a lot to say about that. But as far as a person in queer culture, that resonated. It was kind of like there are definitely situations in life that every queer person will probably tell you they have either been through or been around or seen, where there are people isolated in a same gender environment and things can happen or do or whatever. But some of that is truth. It doesn't just happen just because there's only guys around. There's a truthful element in that as well. And so I think Pillow Friends is a nuanced thing to discuss, but I think reading once New Spring came out, that sort of activated the queer Moiraine. In my mind, I was kind of like, oh. And I up until that point, I think I had understood that in Robert Jordan's mind, the world of Randland, they like being gay, being lesbian, being pan, being whatever was such a non-issue that nobody cared. I mean, it was to mention it would have been strange.
And that was exact. I completely agree.
And I think that was the element that I loved the most is seeing a world where if I was, Dad Swain Sedai in that world, and I was like making out with some dude, nobody would care. It was such a non-issue, and that really resonated with me as a queer person. So, yeah, it was great to see that on television. But in the books, I don't think that really hit until I read New Spring.
I was just going to say, I literally have said that exact thing that you just said, Dad. Like I've said that exactly. Because I felt the same way.
I don't know. I read stuff differently, I guess, because in my mind, Moiraine went from a guy to a girl to a guy, not from a girl to a guy. They talk about her first boyfriend in New Spring. What was his name? Cormanus, I think. Young Cormanus. That was she spent her last night in Carrion with him.
Well, and
then she met Swan, and then she met Tom. So I didn't read it. I didn't read it that way.
And I don't know. I don't know that again, going with the non-issue, I think sexuality is so fluid in this world that it was very, it's not that everybody is on, everybody is just doing whatever they want or whatever. There are definitely heterosexuals, there are definitely homosexuals, there are definitely fluid, sexuality. So but I remember, Moiraine was telling Swan, I'll probably marry a prince, or we'll marry a whatever. And it was just, and then they were like, tickle, tickle, tickle. And
didn't in New Spring, didn't Swan hook up with a dude? A footman or something? Like Cam?
Flirted with a footman or something like that. Yeah.
So Dan, did they play Tune In Terravon? Tune In Terravon?
Tune In Terravon.
Hide the oath rod.
We have a friend.
They were fingering hilts all over the place. So it's okay.
We have a friend that uses the term bugs to refer. Back in the day, she referred to them as bugs. They were bisexual until graduation, and those are girls in college that and I think that diminishes. But that's what Hello Friends kind of were in the books, and I think that the series really did give some gravitas and some. What we saw from Swan and Moiraine was hands down better than any relationship we ever read from Robert Jordan, in my opinion. The love that was shown in probably 20 to 30 minutes of film.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like Rosamund Pike and Sophie Okonedo can they can act like motherfuckers. So like, like their portrayals of it were better than writing could do. Like can do justice.
Absolutely. That's absolutely I mean,
I love books, and I've read hundreds, if not, close to thousands, maybe thousands of books over my whole life. But stage plays and live acting and just acting in TV shows and movies and stuff, it will draw more emotion out of me. I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, you also have to consider this: Robert Jordan never intended us to see that Moiraine and Swan.
Right.
So it wasn't, it wasn't his idea to show us that version of them. So, because that wasn't important for his story from his point of view. So it was, but we needed it for a show. You need those relationships to see that kind of visual things. I think they
make us care about them in certain ways.
Yeah, I think that they should have spent more time on, and they spent a good amount of time on Moiraine and all her relationships in the show. Yeah. They spent a very good amount of time on her and Lan. They spent a good amount of time on her and Swan. They spent a good amount of time on her trying to direct, and control the kids and stuff. So they worked on her because she was the star.
Yeah. I think they did a better job too showing, and I felt that this was not different from book Moiraine, because as we learned more about book Moiraine, like throughout the entire series, if you take the entire series as a whole, again, not just the first book, we know that Moiraine was willing to go to any length. To ensure that not only Rand made it to the last battle, but that he made it on the side of the light. Like she would have sacrificed Matt to the Red Aja if she thought that it would get Rand there. She would have, worked with, if she found out that a Forsaken was trying to influence Rand, she would try to figure out a way to influence that Forsaken away from Rand until she could figure out a way to kill her, which is what she did. So like, I really felt like the overall personality and overall spirit of the character was there, and then just added built on top of.
I think they changed her Moiraine as Moiraine, the core character, the least.
Yes.
She was Moiraine, definitely.
Yeah.
She was Moiraine.
Well, we do have in season 2, Moiraine loses the ability to access the One Power. This doesn't happen in the books.
But
this is a challenge to Moiraine, I mean, distinctly. So go ahead.
It is referenced in the books, though, by Rand. And it's very, very. This is. I know this. You might say I'm reaching, but I'm not. So in one of Rand's POVs, he sees Moiraine, and he literally says he has no doubt in his mind if she couldn't channel the power at all, she would still be able to run a bear through a keyhole.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
So,
yeah.
I think that there's a little bit of like that in this, in making her this way, just to show how strong she is.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was a decent way to go.
Yeah, and it's not even like they really changed a whole lot. Like in this, during these events in the second book, Moiraine's character is out essentially adventuring, looking for a way to kill the Forsaken and to help Rand and stuff like that. So like she's doing stuff.
She's doing
we just
research.
don't see it.
Yeah,
we just don't see it happening. So they just kind of changed a little bit the way the research happened, so it was more entertaining to watch. So like it's not a huge change, but the big change was obviously the circumstances, was her being shielded by Ishamael. So like I like one of the things that they changed or added or slightly brought earlier in the series was the Aes Sedai, not only Moiraine, but all the Aes Sedai, but we see it from Moiraine a lot, not being perfect, like not knowing everything, and by getting things wrong
a lot.
Yeah, so like Moiraine thought she was severed. Meanwhile, she was just shielded with Sidene, but no one thought of that because they haven't interacted with Sidene almost at all. Like, especially Moiraine, she's not a red. But so I kind of like them getting stuff wrong like that.
Yeah,
They chose to have Moiraine be uber aggressive to not only her family but also to Lan. She's pushing him away. She is this again, what do you think of like that arc itself, what Moiraine goes through before she reunites with Lan on the beach and her struggles there? These are more, they're not only emotional, but they're physical struggles as well, because she cannot channel. She has to carry water up to have her bath. That's we see her carrying water. I would say part of it is like for Lan, on Lan's part, she wants to push Lan away because she knows her life as an Aes Sedai is over, and she wants him to not just be loitering around her while she tries to do some spy shit that she's no longer fighting the battle that she was fighting with him earlier. And she's like, maybe if I push him away, I'm imprinting this, but she does say specifically she was pushing him away for his own good later on. But she's probably pushing him go be with Nynaeve. Just go. She's going to be an Aes Sedai. She's going to need a warder. Go be with Nynaeve. For her family, I really felt it was more like it was the easier path to go, to just be short and get it done. I don't care that we have a bad relationship. I don't care that you're upset with me. I have a mission to do. That's all that matters. That's what I felt more with the way she behaved with her sister and her nephew and stuff. Okay. Yeah. But so Dad Swain, what did you feel about that character arc decision? She didn't have much to do, granted, in book 2. She's not Moiraine. And by the way, our first challenge, it's a Moiraine. It's distinctly MWAH capitals.
Okay. If you want to go there, it's also Rosamund Pike, not Rosamund Pike.
It's Rosamund. It's my California accent.
I know. I'm just saying.
I had a friend who called him Perrin.
Thank you, Rapunzel. By the way, she's the one that pointed that out. Perrin? No, hell no.
Perrin.
My friend Tim. He's like, oh yeah, Perrin. I loved him. I was like, whoa.
Hell no. That's weird. That's a little weird.
Ooh, Perrin.
But he is based on a part of his story is based on the Slavic Thor, whose name is Perun. So it's kind of close.
Perrin.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, this is our last show for Pride Month. I hope you've had I hope you celebrate the heck out of who you are and what you are, and every day you wake up, you swing your legs out of bed with a smile on your face. Be as gay as you want to be. This is always been the way, the Leaf motto. Find your bliss, guys and gals and in-betweeners.
Exactly.
I say, guys,
be who you are, say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and just fuck them, as Bernie Mac said. Fuck them.
Yeah, literally, and clean up after yourselves. Come on, be decent
and be kind. I was thinking about this, how we've become quite used to being on the internet and just being kind of, not we, but people have gotten used to being cruel and sort of without consequence. And even in the Wheel of Time fandom, we see this happen, and I think it's important, especially at the end of Pride.
Every day.
Yeah, at the end of Pride, to remember, we can be kind to each other. It's a choice, and I encourage everyone to make that choice.
Exactly.
I also love the term pride itself. It's the perfect. I mean, we could call this flag kindness. We can call this flag love. But pride is, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's amazing.
Yeah. Moiraine. So she has some of the other differences she has is her apparent strength in the one power, and that might be an overall change in just show to book. But let's talk about the end to season 2. Moiraine, arrows are flying at her. She bonds with Lan. Lan, he's like, oh, I'm a warder again. I'm catching arrows from the sky. I'm awesome. And she's like, look at, there's some boats about 2 miles out. There's boats 2 miles out. I got to build it. Build it. Come. She blew up the boats. The boats, we assume. So, all right, here's my challenge to this, Jansen. The third oath to the White Tower is you cannot use the one power as a weapon except for very limited circumstances. Your life's in danger. Your warder's life in danger. Another sister's life is in danger. I'm sorry, did I say in danger? I mean immediate severe danger.
Yeah.
Or against dark friends or shadow spawn.
I've got an answer to your question right now that can end it all.
She blew up all the boats.
I can end it all right now.
Yeah, I mean,
then threw a dragon over the tower to fulfill the prophecy. Am I wrong to call shenanigans on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because of one reason. If the dragon reborn himself is in danger, the entire world is, and so are all your sisters.
She did not know that.
I agree with you on that, Jansen. But also, they know that the Shanshan are taking Aes Sedai captive. She knows that the Shanshan are fighting against Rand. That channeling in Shanshan is for men is the same, is treated the same in the Shanshan as it is in the Randland or the Westlands. So like anything that they're doing is going to be bad, and she needs to defend them. But I really feel like
immediate danger to the loss of life. So come on, no, we're stretching this thing. She came in like the U.S. with their bunker busters, just.
But right before she does it, she tells
scientists.
Lan, I told you. Right before she does it, she tells Lan, I told you. I will do anything to make sure Lan makes it to the How did the oaths allow that to occur? Seriously, they were miles away. If you tell yourself that if Rand dies,
all she needs to do, all she needs to do is rationalize. All she has to do is No, she could see the channeling happening. All she has to do is rationalize to herself that she's either fighting Shadow Spawn or Dark Friends, or she's defending the lives of a sister, a warder, or I said Shadow Spawn or Dark Friends already. But yeah, that's all she has to do is rationalize to herself that she's doing one of those four things.
The entire world in trouble definitely qualifies.
Absolutely.
So then.
Well, she's
how could she could be preemptive? She could be like, "Oh, there's a war on terror, so I need to do that." I mean, it's just based on rational. No, the
yes, it is. We know
but that's are based on an immediate.
No, they're
pressing
not.
Danger
hold on a sec.
Life.
Hold on a sec. We know, like, this is book canon, that the oaths are to the individual sister, whatever the sister internally believes.
And what is the oath? Jansen, recite the oath.
Well, the second one?
Third.
The third oath to never use the power as a weapon unless in defense of myself, another sister, or my warder.
Immediate defense. You forgot. Hold on. No, but that's not the oath.
It's immediate defense.
That's not the oath.
That's not the oath.
That's not the oath. We missed a large portion of the oath. The first part of it is never to use a weapon except against Dark Friends or Shadow Spawn, or in the extreme defense of her life, the life of a warder, or the life of another IC.
And so a war. So this is a war on terror. Then this wasn't a war on individuals, because these people were doing what they thought were the right thing. They were not Dark Friends.
They don't. Moiraine doesn't know that.
They were. The oath. I thought. All right, I thought.
All right, I'm throwing things.
Okay. All right. I'll stop.
Extreme defense. Yeah. Well, she also would have seen.
Thank you, Matt Stagger. I love you.
There you go. Love you, Matt Stagger. Good job, buddy.
Attacking a boat is not attack. Oh gosh.
I love it.
She would have seen so we know that the shield, according to these Aes Sedai, until Moiraine at least realizes that shields can be tied off, that must be maintained by the power. So when the Damane were shielding Rand, I know that was miles away, but Moiraine could have possibly seen the weave, recognized it.
I think we saw that. I think we saw that she saw that little thread coming out.
It wasn't a little thread. It was.
Well, it was lots of Damane.
Dozens of Damane channels.
She didn't try to shield them. She didn't. She blew up boats. She blew up. She blew up boats that had 200-person crew.
Yeah. She would have recognized the weave, and the only person that they would have been
killed 1,000 people.
Would have been Rand.
She did.
You know what else? Something we have no one I ever hear talk about with Moiraine is Moraine's actual psyche. Swan's definitely to a degree as well, but the desperation that Moiraine Damodred had for decades, and with that kind of weight, every single thing, the eggshells she had to be walking on, like, to make sure that this child, this powerful child that could hurt himself and anybody else around him, makes it to a destination so she can save everybody.
Right.
Like, you have to be. Gun shy doesn't even start to begin with how you would be in a situation like that. I mean, any defense, anything, you're lashing out by all means necessary to save this dude. Like, it has been given to you, the responsibility of the entire war, everything.
Jansen, let me piggyback on that. She finds out that she will not be there and spills her emotional, like, oh my God, Lan, I just learned I'm not going to be there. My whole thing, and I can't be there. Like, add that weight to it, right?
Yeah. Brother Dan, whether or not she defied the oaths magically,
she did.
She's become a monster. That's okay. She's a monster for us. She's our Batman, Dan. She's doing the hard stuff.
She's who we deserve.
No. She you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
So here's the thing, and Moiraine says it too. Like, and a lot of characters say it. Like, in the moment, you have to make a decision. Like, Moiraine has very little to no choice in this moment in how to defend Ren's life from, and she's definitely not miles away. I would say at most she's not. I would say at most
between her and them chips.
At most half a mile. At most, I would say.
Another city in between.
Let me ask you this: who personifies being an Aes Sedai, Egwene or Moiraine? Those are the only two you can pick from because everybody else is way.
Wait, I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
If you look up the definition of an Aes Sedai, and whose picture are you going to see, Egwene or Moiraine? I believe those are the two personifications of what it means to be an Aes Sedai. So
fuck you, Nynaeve.
Varen. I mean, I would say that
not Nynaeve,
not Nynaeve, not textbook.
Moiraine is the blue of the year.
It's not just that.
But not the Aes Sedai of the year.
It's a level of selflessness, and this is something that I think about a lot in the. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Jensen. It's a level of selflessness like Egwene has, like Moiraine has, that not a lot of characters have. It's why Randall Thor's the Dragon Reborn and not Perrin. Because Perrin, here's the example that I like to use with the two of them. Perrin would let the world burn to save Fael. Rand would let Avienda, Min, and Elaine die to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference, and that's the difference with Egwene and Moiraine.
And like
Moiraine,
servant of all, servant of all.
Yeah,
like,
so a person. A person.
Which one?
Exactly. And Siwan's the same kind of way. Like someone to be able to be the leader.
Servant of all. Absolutely.
Someone to have the selflessness to put away their own wants and needs and desires and however history's gonna think of them or treat them or whatever way, to do the right thing in the moment that needs to be done.
So it sounds to me like we're making our Aes Sedai Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. If I had to pick 4, oh man. All right, we'll think about it. We'll think about it through the.
Well, is it 4 or
later.
5? Oh, it's 4.
Yeah, it's 4, right? Yeah.
Well, until Trump shows up.
Yeah, until Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4. It's 4.
I will get
his will be the biggest fucking head.
So who's number 4?
One's gonna be gold.
Cat's-wing.
Who's number 4?
Well, we have someone said Jolene.
Varen?
Varen's a good one too.
All right, so Cadwyn I think has to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Nope.
Wait.
Yes,
No. Cadwyn.
She is the oldest.
Her arrogance. Too much arrogance.
You know who else? You know what else gets old? Cockroaches. They get old.
No, here, wait. Cadwyn.
Well, McKinley
could have.
Get old. He died.
Dan, there's a very real chance Cadwyn doesn't even fall into the 3 Oats by the time we meet her in the book.
Yeah, there's a theory that she broke that she somehow got herself unsworn from those.
Yeah, so that's like not true Aes Sedai.
That's
like
Aes Sedai to the core to try to
you besmirch my namesake like that.
Well, we can say Varen based on the show, based on what we know from the books, but Varen isn't really like the awesome Aes Sedai. There's others Browns that are.
The only reason I would argue Varen is because she would basically like if we take Varen in the books, especially only because she didn't have a chance to do it in the show yet. Mm-hmm. And she wrote like the be all end all tell all book on the Black Aja. Like here's how the Black Aja functions. Yeah, that would be huge. That would get her on the wall.
She is like Howard Zinn.
That's also yes, that's a great book. But hold on, that's an aside. If you haven't read, what is it called? U.S. History by Howard Zinn or something like that.
Renegades History? No, People's History.
People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. Check that out. That's one of the best.
All right, so we're throwing 7 up there. Let's just fuck it. We're doing 7 right now.
Ooh,
Ryan, do a video. welcome to the Way of the Leaf. Hey, we're doing our Mount Rushmore of Aes Sedai. We're going through all 7 of the Ajas. I'm saying
One for
that
each Aja?
yes, number 1, blue. Moiraine.
Obviously.
Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
Followed
Number
by
2,
Swamp.
brown.
Varen, obviously.
Varen.
Are we saying Varen?
2 votes for Varen.
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 Yeah. I'm trying to think of other browns, to be honest.
The only one I could think of was what's her face with the dream
Missing.
triangle.
Oh no, they forget
the person in charge of the Library of Congress.
Not the one that currently there.
Saladar. What was her name?
Oh,
Saladar?
Theodrin. Was it
Who
Theodrin?
helped Mirel with land?
Oh,
Wasn't she green?
was it Nisun? No, she was yellow.
Oh, she was yellow and the suit.
Yeah.
Okay, she was yellow.
What the Aes Sedai that researched the dream triangle was also brown, wasn't she?
Corian in the deal.
Yeah. She was pretty important, I would say.
Okay.
But Varen for sure.
What was Eldraine here?
I don't think. Did they have Ajas back then? No, I guess they did.
We
Yeah.
don't know what her Aja was. They did have Ajas, but we don't know what her Aja was.
Well, we can kind of think she might have probably been green since she was married.
Green or blue? Yeah.
And married to her water, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to yellow.
90.
I say
90.
90.
90 Valmir. Yeah.
Are we
She
saying
healed being separate.
the best? Are we saying the best of the Aja, or the one that most represents an Aes Sedai of that Aja?
The one that's
Yeah.
on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, I definitely put
For
90.
the yellow.
Yeah, Nynaeve on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
for
90.
sure.
Absolutely.
Because at the core of a yellow, you're a doctor, and that's exactly what she was at the last day when she was needed most. Definitely.
All right, we've gone through the easy ones.
Hey! Don't forget, Ben Carson was a brain surgeon.
That's true.
Let's not forget.
The difference between him is he didn't have to work on the dude who was, on somebody to keep somebody else alive.
Yeah, Ben Carson, Dr. Oz, they switched from yellow Aja to like weird Aja.
To black.
Dr. Oz was a black Aja masquerading as a yellow, and Ben Carson just got a head injury or something. Who knows?
All right, we're rapid fire. Now we got through the easy ones. Those were the easy ones. Now we're going to the harder ones. We'll start with the green.
Ooh, the green.
Green Aja.
Huh. You know what?
Living?
Catswing.
Green.
Catswing or Karigan?
No, none of
go
the
with
Mount
Elaine
Rushmore
Tracan.
presidents of living.
I'm going to go with Elaine Tricand, who really did what a Captain General's supposed to do.
Yeah.
She was a true Captain General for the Green.
Yeah.
She was a general for the last battle.
You're right. You're right. But I don't know if she specifically did like great.
No.
You know what? She rediscovered creating Terangrial too.
Yep.
I don't know.
And was able to replicate them. They started making dream
She
Triangle
also
like
made
at her
it
factory.
okay. She also changed the game and took the first female warder.
Haunting warders, changing
She
that.
was,
On accident. No, guys, this is all bullshit. Cat Swain is the green Aja on the Hall of Fame.
I think Elaine was definitely on the way.
I guess you're right.
Two votes for Catswain.
Catswain.
3.
I mean, both.
Yeah.
Both
All right, Catswain is
That's
up
fine.
on the rock. All right,
Yes.
now let's get to the obscure. There's 3 left. I'm going to say the evil one. No, there's 4 left. I'm getting more and more evil. So let's go logic. Let's go white. Who is on the Mount Rushmore? Not our most popular one. Who is the most logical? Who's the one defines their Aja? There's the one that Egwene talked to into supporting her as the Amerlin and like did logic, and she's like, well, obviously,
definitely should. One's name.
Serene.
There's not a whole lot of them. Serene Nimdal. There was who was the one that went to the Black Tower? Ayako.
Oh yeah.
Who
else?
And there's this the dark one, right?
Honestly.
All right, wait.
Alviren,
All right, here we go. Here's a list of the 4 Amerlin seats from the White Aja. There's Rabane Marushta, the first ever.
She was Russian.
Aliane Senecan. Beryl Marl. And
I got
Sorrel.
I got 2 Beryl Marls.
Beryl Marl and
In my
Sorrel.
Soraya
Began. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess
Soraya Began.
Soraya was
Began was probably the most famous out of all those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them.
Oh yes,
I remember them talking about her.
Yeah, they talked about her a couple, like 3 or 4 times.
Everyone always talks about Soraya.
I think, didn't somebody even see her in a vision?
Mm-hmm. Like a ghost.
Somebody saw her in a vision too.
Accepted or something like that. Yeah.
Janie Wright makes a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're just picking one per, I wouldn't just be picking one per. Egwene made it on the one before that we were talking.
Yeah, Egwene definitely made it.
Yeah.
Amerlin Rushmore.
Though, you know what, though? Honestly, listen, not to minimize, Egwene giving her life in the last battle, but, like, I feel like Siwan would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
Many of the Amerlin seats would have done the same thing had they had had they been in the position. I don't know. The only thing unique to Egwene about it was that she's so powerful and, like, she kind of thought she wasn't constrained to the way of thinking that just the Aes Sedai were. She opened herself to more, lines of thought and stuff like that.
She did end up dividing the tower from the Red. So apparently she did not facilitate that so well.
I would want Egwene being on the Mount Rushmore of Aes Sedai for the reason of trying
Saving
to
the tower.
Fomenting the desire and the push for women of the tower to go and train with the Sea Folk and the Aiel and the Kin, and not just learning from Aes Sedai.
That was her legacy. That's going to be Egwene's legacy.
I would nominate her for the Mount Rushmore of Aes Sedai for that alone.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, guys. Let's say I had a Yonslaught.
Yonslaught's a great name.
It really is.
It's a really good name.
It's like,
it makes me laugh.
Just like, they're coming at you with an onslaught.
That's Lan at
you call that an onslaught?
So what about the Red?
Their special attack
we're getting there. First, there's Grey's.
Oh, okay.
Jansen.
I got a good one for that. Yukiri.
Oh, Yukiri was a good Grey. And then, who was Berline's advisor? Honora?
Oh, okay.
I don't think she was better than Yukiri.
Yeah, Yukiri actually was innovative.
Mm-hmm.
She was good at trying to be an ambassador. We saw her doing that. When she definitely was a loyalist and still was someone who was one of the first to create the bridge between her and Egwene when she came back. She was a great help, obviously, in the war room during the last battle with the creation of the how she started manipulating the gateways so they could see. She was pretty good as a Grey, I would say.
I like it.
I think
was Delana
Grays? Oh, go ahead.
Was Delana Grey?
I believe yes.
Okay, and she was the black. She was also the black.
Oh yeah, Marana was a Glay.
Yeah, a Glay.
I think the Grey's heyday was after the breaking. I think a lot of the heavy lifting was done before the series happened, to be honest. And we do hear some references to a couple of Aes Sedai negotiating with making the 9-country pact or whatever the agreement of 12 or whatever.
The pre-Arter Hawkwing compact of countries like Manetheren and Shadowlog.
I think the Greys were also like they were crippled a little bit during the what do they call it, the
10 Nations.
Yeah, or the Will Katzman called it the bad shit that happened between the Red Aja and
the vileness.
The vileness.
The vileness, yeah.
Because I know that the Amerlin right after Tamara Spinia was Grey.
Right. But she was kind of
And
red.
she was so gray, they even thought that she may have been a red, closer to a red, because she picked a red as her.
She was only Amaranth for like a year or something, right, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
She
year
died.
before
She died
Emperor,
too, right?
2 years or something.
Died in
Yeah.
her sleep.
Yeah. That was when the
Suspicious.
Black Aja was really fucking just going crazy, killing Amaranth seats.
Well, why wouldn't you? So it's a dangerous job, guys. Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron. Do you have something?
What happened?
Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Like I got something.
Oh, no, I'm just-
okay.
Fiddling.
Let's jump to Reds then, guys. And I have a name in my head.
Oh, I have one too.
Oh, I have one too.
Let's ask Datswin.
Red. It's a toss-up for me between Sylviana and Sutama.
Oh,
Ooh,
Wow. Respect that.
Sutama. What do you say, Tom?
Shit. Pivara.
Pavara. That's mine.
Yeah.
for me, it's Pavara all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All day, every day.
Because when you see what a red does, Pavara actually did everything that a red was supposed to do
Mhm.
throughout the series, even kicking the shit out of a couple of Ashaman too.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
she was
defined
good.
the new purpose for the red through her actions.
One of the things that one of the main reasons I picked for Pavara, and one of the big reasons that not a lot of Red Sisters, I mean, the Aes Sedai in general have this issue, but it's most prevalent, I feel like, in the Red Aja, is the unwillingness to change and grow.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where Pavara was I have new information and like this is new things to work off of, so we're gonna have to adapt and change. And I like
Because I mean, with the way that the new world is coming,
exactly.
People who hated men weren't going to survive too long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like
God damn, Yonslot's killing it.
Yeah, so let's go.
And Pavara is one of the ones at the head of their transition into whatever the red.
Me and
lets
Yonslot,
become.
we're on the same wavelength. Me and Yonslot, right there.
All right.
It's a savage.
You know that Yonslots are contagious.
Let's jump to the evil.
yeah, I was about to
Guys-
say there's still one more.
There's still one more Aja, and this is the black.
Varen goes up twice.
Varen.
Right.
I want to say Halima, but is a Forsaken
Hell no.
count?
No, Halim is not.
Halima
Black
was
Aja.
rad. Her
Yeah, but she was
her
a Forsaken
devious
though.
plot of headaches and massages.
But she's not a. She's
She
not
was a
Black.
Forsaken.
She's not
not
Black
Black
Aja.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Forsaken.
She's a Dreadlord and a Forsaken. Yeah, like at the very least, she would be a Dreadlord, and at the very most, she would be a Forsaken.
Yeah, she was called a Forsaken by Shadar Haran.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
She's
think
not. She's not an Aes Sedai at all.
Let's see.
Dreadlord's
Galena.
such a great name.
Yeah, Galena. I don't know.
No. I don't
Who
think-
orchestrated the kidnapping of Rand? Was it Galena?
Galena was there. I don't know if
was
she
there.
was.
I don't think she orchestrated it.
Oh yeah, no, we famously have a theory that Guitarra Moroso was a Black Aja.
That's an interesting
Yep.
one. I think
That's why she's blind.
Alana too.
if you want to go to the most useful for the Black Aja, like the one that did the best work for the Black Aja,
Guitarra.
Alida.
No, Alviren.
Alviren as a Black
I'll
Aja.
be Aaron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mrs.
I mean, I
Synopsis,
feel like Alida did the best, had the best.
She definitely did a lot of work.
Best
for them.
Well,
assist.
Sherman.
Yeah, the
Sherman.
best assist on like
With that
almost.
being said, while Alida was being a dupe, Egwene was also being a dupe as well.
Yeah, to a little bit less of a degree,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah.
So let me argue for, was it Sherman who was the Mistress of Novices, who was the Black
Sheriam.
Sheriam.
Yeah.
Byar.
I say that she was like the the scout. She was the guy who the person that shows up to the high school baseball thing and says, "All right, you got some skills. You go ahead and you're fine. You got some skills. You got some skills." And she was the recruiter. I think she was the one that fed all the Black Aja. Without her, there would be no Black Aja.
having a having a mistress of novices who's a Black Aja is definitely not a good thing for the side of the light.
So I'm
Alviren
putting her.
survived.
Who?
Alviren survived.
Mhm.
Yeah, Alviren was like, if we're thinking of it in terms of
Longevity.
but no, just like terms of not like good for the side of light, but the best Black Aja,
Black
like
Aja,
the most
you see.
evil that did the
Most-
best for the shadow.
Effective, yeah.
Yeah, I think Alviren and Galena are like
Yeah, Catalina was a
Leandrin.
pretty decent one too.
Oh yeah.
Leandrin.
All right, so I have a
Kalion.
proposal. I have a proposal. Obviously, if Varen is an option, she's on there, right? She's a black. I say she's actually no longer brown. She's black. We gotta elect a new brown and assign Varen to black.
But Varen, see,
No, I disagree.
I disagree too, but I only disagree. I disagree because Varen was never really black. Like she was going into the Black Aja because her choice was deny them and
Yeah,
die.
she was a coward.
Well,
No.
it was deny them and die.
Her
or
value was
go
not
in
as a Black Aja, right?
What's up?
Her value was not as a
No,
Black
that's
Aja.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Her
No,
choices
guys,
were
once
at
you
the
What
go
time.
black-
Billy Gwen? I'm a Black Aja because I like my skin. I'm very fond of it.
Well, yeah. She didn't want to die, and she used it to try to help the side of good. So like and she was, playing like the double agent thing. Like, I'm not saying she did good things. Like, she said she did horrible things as to prove herself, but
It says I would need a very
on her
special kind of
taxes.
Plus, we only know like 5 other Browns. We know so many other Blacks.
I
It's a fun
know.
conversation.
yeah.
I like how
So
Alright,
Varen doesn't
fine.
count.
has
All right,
Fair.
if you want to switch it up, Varen's the Black Aja. I would say Corrine Nadal for the Brown.
Coriana and Nadil.
Coriana Nadal, yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
wait a sec, wasn't Sutama Ra the Brown?
Who?
Sutama.
I don't remember that.
She was the sitter who was
We
like
just talked about this. I'm not good with names. We're not good with names.
Egwene. Okay, so Egwene said in her POV, Sutama. Very few Browns were intimidating. Sutama was one of them. She carried a dagger and she had a scar from a duel that Suan thought that she had been in. but
She was a Abu Dari, right?
Yes. And
Yes,
she was
okay.
brown.
God
She
damn it.
was a beast. Like, yeah, she was a
Sutama?
good brown. She was a good brown.
No, Sutama
yeah.
was red.
Really?
She was the highest. She's the one who sent Pavara to go.
So then who am I
Black
talking
Tower.
about then? No, then who am I talking about then?
It might be Saren?
Siren.
Siren. Oh, okay.
Siren Bayou? No, Siren Bayou
no.
was a Amaranth.
She was an Amerlin.
So I just had a
Siren.
weird tangent. You know how people say they're bad with faces but good with names? It would be weird if you were the other way around. Like if you just walked up to somebody randomly and you were like, "You're Steve." I have no idea why, but I know you're Steve. I don't recognize
that'd be-
like you can only be bad with names and good with face. You can't be the other way around. All right, anyway.
Yeah,
I'll write that down.
that's
It's a
true.
good 5-minute stand-up bit. I can get that going.
I think it's Siren Asnobar, right?
Ah, that's it. Good
She was
job.
an innkeeper's daughter. So Egwene is also an innkeeper's daughter. So I
Okay.
think they have-
And
She
she
was
had
one
a
of the-
cudgel.
Yeah.
That's what she had. She had a cudgel.
That's cool.
All right, guys, that's been Mount Rushmore of Aes Sedai. Thanks
It's a
for
big
watching.
mountain. It's a big mountain. They're gonna have to carve that in Dragon Mount.
There you go. It's a
Which reminds
Dude,
me
that'd be awesome.
very much of Moiraine Sedai. who we
Yeah, exactly. So we'll jump to the third season. Third season, Moiraine is a bit more like Book Moiraine, right? She is guiding Rand into the waste. She is a cosmic psychonaut that she's taking the shrooms and doing the peyote and screaming in the rings.
Yeah.
All
Ride
this
the
stuff.
snake. The snake is long.
Ride the snake.
And she also got into bed with the devil.
7 miles.
She did.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, Jansen.
I don't know.
One of the major changes was her collab. There was Lanfear feet. Moiraine Sedai.
I would say she made the best out of a situation that she couldn't control. Like she didn't go, oh, I want to work with a Forsaken. Let me go find one. She was like, holy shit, Lanfear's here, and she's trying to influence Rand. How do I stop this? And
Lanfear would have just killed her no matter what.
Yeah, she would have just squished her, no problem.
Well, let's talk about this a tiny bit. So, Lanfear more or less propositioned saying, "Hey, we got to split him from his friends," and Moraine's like, "You are so right." And Lanfear's like, "All right, I got it. Don't interfere."
Yeah, and then she
disagree.
You don't know.
I disagree with the
right?
premise of that statement.
Wink. Okay.
I disagree with the premise of that. Like we don't know who approached who. We don't know when she discovered specifically. The way it seemed.
Wait, no, it was Lanfear. Like when she was down below,
like
and also she pops up
right in front of her.
Well, we did get a little bit of. We got some good information in that. Remember, she said, Lanfear said, "I think you've been hiding in me because I think you think that you're outliving your usefulness, and I'll just kill you." So she said that to him. So something Moiraine had was useful to Lanfear for some reason.
Because
her association with Rand, right?
Yeah, her influence, her influence over Rand was what she was what she wanted, and it was the same way for Moiraine. Moiraine was afraid that she was influencing Rand in the wrong direction, so she used whatever her best. She basically made the best out of a bad situation, and she took the opportunity to try to kill her. Well, all right, listen. The first thing she did when she saw Lanfear for the very first time was stab her in the throat. So, we know where she stands on Lanfear.
Yeah, that's true.
But she tried to, make.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
The goal of Lanfear was for Rand to get Kalendor, and she realized that Moraine's goal was for Rand to get Kalendor. And Lanfear said, I know the Forsaken back and forth. I can take care of them, but I do not know these kids. And you do, and that, I believe you're going to do whatever it takes to do this. It's one of the only things I really like about you. I like that line a lot. But that's
if you would have told me
that's kind of how they bond it.
If you would have told me we were going to get 3 seasons of the Wheel of Time and not see Kalendor, I would have said bullshit.
Yeah,
right.
I like
of all props,
changing it. I like them changing it up.
I don't mind it, but I still say I would have said bullshit. I'd have said no way.
There's 3 conversations in season 3, specifically with Moiraine, that I wish happened in the books, and I always felt a little disingenuous. That was a great one, but it's not one of the 3 I'm thinking of.
Okay.
2 are with Rand, and then 1 is with Lan. She has the conversation with Rand, talking to him about how does he control so much of the One Power, what does it feel like to him and things like that. When she uses Sakarnan, she imagines that's got to be close to how strong Rand is in the One Power. So she talks. That was a cool conversation for them to have.
Yeah. I agree.
Then the other one was them having that really frank discussion about I want to get Rand to the I want to get you to the last battle by any means necessary. I don't care. Mm-hmm. And then she says, and I'll kill you if you go to the shadow. And then he's like, yeah, good. Then we're in agreement. I like that. And there was more to that conversation. But then the one with her and Lan when they were drinking the Usquai, that was fantastic. It's also the conversation, specifically the 2 of them, book Moiraine not trusting Lan enough to not just run off to the Blight and get himself killed after she dies, not to stay and want to make sure the world continues. I always felt was disingenuous to the character. Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Yeah, I thought this too. In real life, you have the most beautiful woman to ever exist. Sidles up to a 21-year-old. There's no way.
He doesn't hit on her once? Right.
There's no way.
Well, let's.
Sorry, Moiraine, you're gonna have to work a little harder than that.
Disabuse me of this notion, because I think that if the series had continued and if we had hit some of these major beats,
Medivh, Moiraine,
that Moiraine would have been involved in a lot more things than she is in the books. I think number one, if we had the Bowl of Winds, she would have been in there. I doubt there. Also, the cleansing of the taint. I think based on the way that things have been written around her, it would have been her instead of Nynaeve. I think that if this went forward,
No, I think that she would have still died, or I think she would have died.
I think she would have died next season. I think it would have been the end of next season. I think they were. I think, let's pretend like there was no talk of cancellation. Rafe knew he was writing 8 seasons in total, and they were going to keep going, no problem. I think they didn't kill her in this season just as a way to, to keep us on our toes, because everyone thought she was dead this season, and she didn't.
Right.
She didn't die. So like, I feel like that's the only reason they didn't kill her this season. But next season, I feel like my pet theory was that when they came out of the waste, they were going to go to Tyr instead of Kyrian, and all the events that happened outside of Kyrian were going to happen outside of Tyr. So like, she would have just died at the end of that season.
Yeah, and I think they were positioning Rand to take on his sort of main character.
See, I think they brought Elida in. I think Moiraine dies first episode. That's
what executed? Her head cut off like
out of nowhere, just like, oh my God, she died? What? Like, I think that's what they would have done, because I don't think they had the budget to pay for both of those people on the show.
I'm not even thinking in that direction. But like, she was in the waste, though. How would she? In the beginning of season 4, she still would have been one of those
lizards.
I mean, they had so many different ways of jaunting into the future and everything with that, man. They could have started the season with Rand on the outskirts of Tyr himself. They could have done a bunch of stuff like that.
But the things that back to the conversations and the relationships that Moiraine had with the characters, I liked the way that she and Lan were together on screen. One of the things that a lot of people talked about was the emotion that the two of them showed, but they showed each other. If you go back and rewatch it, the times that they show each other that the characters are portraying emotion on camera, they're alone or they're in private. So like in the books, when we would read Lan or Moiraine interpreting emotions coming through the bond, and then that not being displayed on like Lan's face, or Lan not giving voice to feelings, but he could feel them, and then in turn Moiraine can feel them, and then they would have a discussion based on that shared knowledge of each other's emotions. We can't see that in a TV show. Like, that doesn't play well on a camera. So they had them portray the emotions on their faces, but only when they were alone. If you go back and rewatch it, when they're out in public or they're doing something important, they don't do that.
And that's why they made Lan the way he was, like, as a very receptive, instead of the hard planes that all that shit would have bounced off.
Boring as fuck. It would have been fucking stupid.
It would have been boring
shit to watch. Just
no,
the whole time.
I know.
No one wants to watch that shit.
No.
I want to just see Lan pissing on a tree.
Hey,
I still think they played Lan the wrong way. Lan should have been stone-faced until he met Nynaeve. That's what I think.
Right.
And he should have only came out of him when Nynaeve was present.
Once he got low.
Tom, remember all the samurai movies? Come on, you could say along with just a little twitch of your lower lip or something.
I like that they made the characters less dependent on each other for emotional support.
That wasn't the story, though.
More independent.
It should have been because it could have been even better if Nynaeve was pissed off except when she was around Lan. Just a little bit madder than she was.
I like them
just a little.
I like them figuring it out for themselves and not needing these other romantic partners to complete them. You know what I mean? Like, Lan can learn to be a whole person by himself, and Nynaeve can learn to control her anger and break her block by herself. I love that they broke her block on her own. She used her own past emotions and things that she did and things that she learned and saw to break her own block, and she didn't.
Was that super clear to you, Tom?
The Moses moment.
That her block was that she could just channel out will then?
Yeah.
That wasn't clear to me.
Oh, absolutely. was definitely clear to me because it was
Yeah, it
like
wasn't
she like
to me.
said ta-da. They literally said ta-da.
Yeah, and she also like she wasn't angry when she channeled. She was completely submitted.
Yeah,
she gave up.
Smiling. Yeah, that was definitely clear.
Yeah, she
All right.
she gave up. Like wasn't fighting. She literally died almost and then came back.
And
She was a little bit of a Jesus moment for her.
A lot of extra writing doing that too. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, they did
Is
that.
there anything about the differences between our book, Moiraine, and the show, Moiraine, that you guys wanted to highlight?
I'm trying to think of something I didn't. That I was like, no, I don't like that. Like I'm trying.
Did you like the family dynamic? Did you like? I
love
her,
the family
Yes.
Her making
because they didn't.
the kid making sandwiches for her and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were so many family dynamics in the books that were there that they didn't talk about that made me upset.
Absolutely.
Like the very fact that Moiraine was Elaine's aunt,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
that they never talked about it.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, there was a lot they didn't talk about that, and you know what? They didn't.
That's weird.
Didn't talk about that in the show.
Making her sister. So like one of the changes that they made between her and her sister was they made her sister younger, where in the books her sister was an older sister.
Right.
So like making her sister a younger sister, and then having those two actors. I forgot the actor that played her sister. I love her too. She's in so much
Great.
shit. But having those two actors on screen, Rosamund Pike
Cameron
and
Diaz.
like, and then saying that that's her younger sister was a great visual thing.
Yeah.
Having that, they had that painting of them in the background.
that was
Yeah, like
great.
that was.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. And then
Yeah.
the dynamic of
Lindsay Duncan, that's her name.
Lindsay, thank you. The dynamic of having her sister have that animosity toward Moiraine,
Yeah.
Moiraine, not just because of she's an Aes Sedai and she got to go to the White Tower, blah, blah, but she spent the time in Cairhien rebuilding their house after Lam and Sin and all that shit. And like, Moiraine was never around to help. She didn't come for the funerals, but I liked that. Like I liked seeing that. It's similar to we're watching Andor on the rewatches that we do on Mondays now, at the moment, and she has a lot of similarities to Mon Mothma in that, like in the two shows, and where like we have to see these things, and it especially adds to her character because we have to see these things emotionally, personally that these characters are dealing with, while at the same time dealing with these big macro events, trying to save the world, trying to build a rebellion and overthrow the emperor, like it's, but at the same time, Mon Mothma is dealing with her daughter becoming like a religious zealot, and Moiraine has to deal with her sister being mad at her for not being around. Like it's a real thing. It grounds her character a little bit.
Yes.
It endears people to her.
It's so good too because when her nephew turns out to be a dark friend, like she really does stay true to her own self as far as a woman of the light. She's the one who tricks him into the cell and then traps him there and basically is like, I've already told the queen. She wanted that very much because him marrying the queen would establish the Damodred name again as a name of respect. But she was willing to sort of throw that.
Did they ever mention who the king or the queen, the last name of the queen?
Lucy.
We know in the books it was Rioton, but
yeah, I don't think they ever say the last name.
It was Rat.
It's Reich. Queen's Reich.
Queen.
well, no, Rioton did have. So the king, who was it, Andric?
And yes,
Andric was the king, but the two people. What was the name? Torum Rioton was
Rioton,
and then the lady
Caroline,
who married
Oliver.
Who married Darlin?
Caroline Damodred.
Caroline Damodred. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
And
then
that was Moraine's cousin.
Colivert was the one who kind of put herself into the throne.
Yeah, like
Oliver. Well, her name was Oliver on the show. Colivert on the books hung herself.
Yeah.
I'm having my own yawn slot. I'm just kidding.
The
I was in Ohio this morning. I still have Ohio all over me. I'm feeling saucy. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
They got me. I just on the Barthanes and I forgot her sister's name, but on the two of them, they got me. I definitely thought it was her. I definitely thought her sister was going to be the dark friend. Like 100% thought it was going to be her sister. I was convinced.
Yeah, I thought she was going to hang herself when Bartholomew killed himself. Because I thought they made her Colivare because her name was Oliver. I thought that she would have been
right. Okay, yeah. I was convinced that she was a dark friend though. There was, man, I read into so much stuff. They did a lot of. There was a lot of things that the writers did on this show that I felt like, you know, when I try to look at it unobjectively, not thinking like, oh, this character must be this because this is where they were in the book.
I thought they were good.
Yeah, no, I think they tricked me a couple times. Like there was like, I thought there was a distinct possibility Nynaeve could align with the Red Ajah the way that Leandrin and hers relationship was going, right up until Leandrin said we had to kill the men who can channel and not cure them. That was when she lost Nynaeve. But right up until then, that relationship that they were building with the two of them was really cool and like interesting. And there was the same way with this dark friend thing with Barthanes. Like they got me. They got me. I definitely thought it was her sister. I thought her sister was a fucking dark friend.
Yeah, the show did a lot of things
snack
really
menu.
cool like that. Little misdirections and whatnot. I think the show was really clever. I think a lot of the shit they did was clever as heck. I liked it.
I'm saying,
so more.
You know what? I love
Hashtag
it
Save
brought
Watt.
up so much to talk about.
Go to Save Watt. If everyone watching this right now goes to SaveWatt.com and gets 2 other people to sign the petition, we can get thousands more people. So just, you know, ask your sister, your cousin, your brother, your aunt, your mom, your dad, whoever. Just say, hey, sign this petition. Don't worry, it's for a TV show that I like. Like, even if they don't know Wheel of Time, just get
Has
people
anyone
to sign
sent this to Jeff Bezos?
I don't know. But
He's
there's
on his
billboards. There's billboards outside of Amazon Studios in both LA and London or England, and they flew a banner in the sky in LA above the Amazon Studios. That said,
It was over my house.
There you go.
Did you see it?
And in Australia, they hired somebody to wear a placard and go and walk around in front of the Amazon campus studios in
How do
Sydney.
you get that gig? I can do that. Send me to Australia. I'll walk for.
Yeah.
I'll walk.
There was
about.
already someone in Australia willing to do that.
I'll do a
Any Australian would be willing to do that.
That's fair.
I want to do that.
Nar. Sorry.
All right.
Oh
Yeah.
Quick announcement before I have to go to. I have a quick announcement to make.
Ooh.
So when the Wheel of Time started, my entire goal was for this year, 2025, by the end of the year, to be in Europe auditioning for it.
That would be awesome.
Turns out that I am not going to be doing that because there's nothing to audition for as far as Wheel of Time. However,
Yes.
I will be going to London, however, anyway,
Oh, okay.
because I was just cast
Ooh.
in Trivial Pursuit, London.
Ooh.
That's
And
awesome.
it
Is it,
A play?
No, the game show.
it's a game show. Yeah.
Ah.
I took a test and answered them all right. So
That's amazing.
Nice. You gotta keep us updated. I want to make sure I watch those episodes.
dude, I will video the whole thing with you guys if you want.
Yeah,
So,
that's fun.
in fact,
Sick.
if you want, I'll use one of you guys as my lifeline too.
Oh, I'm
if it's
totally
trivia,
down.
if it's trivia,
I'm
call
totally
me.
down.
Hell yeah, dude.
When is it? When are you going?
What? So it's the end of
I
September.
guess when do you tape?
last week of September or first week of October.
Okay,
Between
cool.
that time frame.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Isn't
Man.
isn't Valkyrie Con right at the end of September?
I don't know, but I'll go.
Oh, if you're there, you should go for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything I can audition for in London when I'm there.
Awesome.
Kill as many birds with a stone as possible since they're paying for the trip and everything.
Have you ever done stage stuff? Because I know there's lots of stage stuff going on there.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but 2 weeks ago was the Black Entertainment Television Expo,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
which they have, and it's a lot like American Idol. And I was actually embarrassed to be one of the contestants there. I was number 439 because I thought that, well, I'm an actor. I've been doing this for a long time. Why should I go down there? So I did anyway, and people like all of Tyler Perry's people, like biggest black casting directors on the planet were there. So I waited 2 days, and I was number 439, and I did a classical theater monologue from Cyrano de Bergerac, the end of him before he killed him. And I finished. There was standing ovation, almost a pin could drop, and on the photographer, the head of photography, sent me from their website the top 14 best performances of the entire weekend of all the 1,000 people, and your guy Jansen Lashley Haynes was number 5.
Yeah,
Excellent. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
Oh my God, what a great, I know you've been you were telling us some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's been rough.
It's been rough. So this is a really nice launch.
So that happened, and as soon as that happened, one of the casting directors ran to me, and I auditioned immediately for a show, Varnell, which is going to be on BET, starring Tommy Davidson, a character from Martin who they're giving their own show to.
Tommy Davidson is so funny.
I love Tommy Davidson. I love him, man.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with it, man, but it was a really great experience. Just being able to do that in front of a lot of my peers. A lot of people who hadn't seen my work, a lot of people like Michael J. White, who's a very, very awesome actor who I've worked with before, and I know he was there. It was really, really validating for me just to get to do it. It was
awesome.
It was tearfully awesome.
Man, I'm so stoked for you, Jansen.
Yeah, mate, I'm so stoked.
This has been a fun train to be riding.
Crazy, man. All kinds of stuff. And my stepfather passed away a few days ago. So going back to Cleveland, my mom, we weren't as close as I would have liked to be to someone who you call your stepfather because we live so far away. It would have been nice to see him more. But
condolences.
He and my mom loved each other so much. He was a rock for her and was a great person to go back home and tribute to. It'd be a good time. And it's all for her. So yeah, we're gonna go back and give him some respect and get back to doing what we do best, loving everybody, and just having a good time doing it, man.
Awesome.
Hey, man. Much love to you. Hey, and it sucks that time moves the way it does.
Man.
It certainly does, man. And and that's all we have is oh shit, I should have, when that shit happened. So go ahead, if you have the chance, guys in chat, go ahead and do. Instead of don't say I should have. Call your friend. Talk to your family.
Okay,
all right, y'all.
I love you all. I'm gonna have to go make some children.
You're gonna make children?
What?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Guys, sign up to our Patreon. This is what you can see.
Somebody clipped it.
Tom, do you have anything to plug for your show?
Your first time, one of your first time readers, half of the first time readers on your first time reader show will be guesting tomorrow when we watch episode 8 of Andor season 2. So you can come hang out with Josh and his beanie. Both of them will be there.
Whoa, Josh is spreading out. He's branching. Yeah. He's like our little succulent that's starting to grow, Ryan.
Yeah, a thorny ass succulent.
Succulent. That you're like, do you want water? He's like, nah, is it purified?
That's Wayne. How about you?
Nothing, just getting stoked for upcoming WhatCon. This will be my first WhatCon, and there's already a load of people who I've been following in the Wheel of Time fandom for years and years and years that I'll finally be able to give a hug to and see. Awesome. So I'm super stoked about that.
I was literally just about to ask if you were a hugger because I was going to be like, you're going to owe me a hug.
I'm a hugger. Tackle me, throw me around, whatever you need.
Yeah. Whoa, all right.
Hey, Dadspin does not say no. He's game.
I say yes.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a great time.
But I accept. We will be hugging. I am also a hugger.
Looking forward to a hug from you, sir.
Jansen, it's good seeing you again. It's been a couple weeks. I'm glad you were back, and I've missed you more than I can express. It's good to see you. It feels like the band's back together when you're here.
It does. Feels good.
So,
I will be broadcasting from from here, I will be back in time. So no worries, no problem. I will see you guys next week. But I would like to discuss who we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
Let's see. We were thinking Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Nynaeve's a good one.
Yeah.
And one day, you know who I'd like to talk about? Somebody we barely talk about. And I know
Millie
everyone
Skane.
likes.
Is it Millie Skane?
Barrelane.
Fairlane.
Or Bella.
Booby
I
Lane.
recently reread. Yeah, I recently reread again and again, obviously, Shadow Rising, and I realized something about Barrelane. You know, when we first hear about her, she had just conceded to Tyr.
Mm-hmm.
So she was ready to give it all up to one of the High Lords,
Yeah.
just to save her
Like,
country. And Brand,
give it up literally, or
probably.
Possibly. Yeah.
yeah.
Because remember, I forgot what High Lord it was that had plans for it.
Listen, we know usually if you have plans for Barrelane, she already has plans in the works happening.
High Lord
counter those
Torion, I
plans.
think it was, because didn't Rand say, no bloody Torion? Or something like that.
Well, she was like, she wanted Rand, then she wanted Perrin, and then she's like, oh, Galad, he's super hot. Oh, but he's also the queen's stepbrother? Okay, that works.
And he's got a nub.
He's got a look at that.
The
All right,
reason
everyone.
why I thought Matt was such a great character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
All right,
she's like, is that UPS? Because that guy's packing.
All right, join us Tuesday as we finish A Memory of Light with our first time readers.
Ooh, wow.
Only a limited number of first time reader shows left to catch. So I think we're just finally getting our stride after all these years.
Oh, you know what I might unveil next week? I've been working on Lego Myth. My version of the entire Wheel of Time.
I love it.
Lego what?
My Lego figures of the Wheel of Time.
I love it.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Someone
Yeah, I've got
donated.
everybody.
Someone donated. I forgot who it was. Donated a very big wine spring inn to the Jordan Con charity auction a
I
few years
saw
ago.
that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Made out of Legos, obviously. That's why I bring it.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right,
There's
everyone.
actually some other cool ones too.
Yeah.
The one at Jordan Con, the White Tower was awesome.
I wasn't there last year. The past
Yeah,
year.
the White Tower was awesome.
That's sick.
You weren't there to present your White Tower, Tom?
This past year. If it was this past year, I wasn't there this year.
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
You're funny. You're cute, buddy.
You're slow on the uptake there.
I was a little there.
All right, everyone. Thanks again. Join us Tuesday. Join us next Sunday. Like, subscribe, and run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.